Yo, yo, yo. What is up, you guys? This is Mojo with Token with Mojo, where we are token every single day. Today, people, we're doing a reaction video to my home dude and talking about blue-collar work. Low-key, I do blue-collar work. I'm an HVAC tech. So, to see somebody actually talk about this shit is... Yo, so I'm going to give you my honest opinion on it. We're going to freaking talk about it, all that kind of shit. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into this video.
Job, society has probably told you that you are a loser.
Yep.
You're an L7
Weenie.
They say you're uneducated, rough around the edges, and an out-of-touch, unskilled laborer. You ended up working this job because something went terribly wrong in your life, didn't it? Yeah, it did. And if...
Let's just say that's kind of how I ended up getting into my trade. Yeah.
If you're a white-collar worker, you got it all figured out. You got your college degree, your fancy office.
That doesn't work for me.
And maybe one of those nice nameplates on your desk. Blue-collar jobs suck! Why would people do them? Huh. Why would people do them? They're as bad as society says they are. Why are people still choosing blue-collar jobs? Maybe they aren't what they appear to be. My dad has worked in concrete construction for the last 35 years, and from what I can tell, he's had a pretty fulfilling life. Without a college degree, he was able to make great money.
I will say, I'm 32 years old, and I can look at my debt in my life. I got debt, yeah, but as far as college, that's a big fat zero. That's a zero on the money I owe for college. Just zero. Zero. And technically, I get paid more than half of you people.
Money was at all my sports games and always had time for his family on the weekends. And I would bet that you know someone like my dad who's also found fulfillment in a blue-collar job. The problem is that the world says if you work a blue-collar job, you have wasted your potential. And that really chaps my ass. That torques my melon. And that freaking grinds my gears. Blue-collar jobs don't suck. They're actually more fulfilling than white-collar jobs. So today we're gonna talk about how we got here, why blue-collar jobs are great, and the thing that can actually make a blue-collar job pretty damn fulfilling. So how'd we get here? We used to glorify blue-collar jobs.
What the fuck happened to people glorifying blue-collar jobs? Do you know how many buildings I freaking built in just the fucking 3 to 4 years alone of me? Dude, oh my God. It's kind of disrespectful that when I tell people I do HVAC construction and they kind of look at me like, oh, you don't know how to do shit. Do you know how to read a fucking tape measure properly? Do you know how to read blueprints properly? Do you know anything about construction at all and how a building actually operates other than what you do in it? Like, come on, dude.
Blue-collar workers were the heart and soul of this country. What's
are.
more badass than the iconic Empire State Building?
Like, that's what gets me wrong. We still are the heart and soul of America. Like, if blue-collar workers stop doing their job, America stops running. If a lot of people in the, white-collar worker industry stop doing their job, America doesn't stop running, dog.
Photo. Can you imagine doing that for a job? That's why I was a concrete guy. I'm so close to the ground, I'm actually in the ground. Even when I was on top of the forms, 10 feet up in the air, I was still level with the ground. From that photo in the 20s all the way to the 70s, we celebrated the hard work and blue-collar folks. If things were so great up to the 70s, what happened in the 80s? In the 80s, we started seeing more industries moving their operations overseas. We became less about trades and more about finance. We started glamorizing lawyers and entrepreneurs and Wall Street wolves.
I think it's time you both get the f off my boat.
Society started encouraging more people to go to college. In fact, parents started preaching to their kids that if you don't go to college, you're gonna end up a loser like your uncle. A degree began to define success, and all the jobs you didn't need a degree for became second tier. And this has snowballed into people thinking that white-collar jobs are the only jobs that are good. You start combining all these factors and you get the mold of what we are today. But are white-collar jobs even that good? There may have been a time when white-collar jobs were great, the sweet spot of work-life balance and fulfillment, but now it's not the case. Today, the white-collar job is all about spending the most amount of time at work while doing the least amount of work possible.
Gen Z boss enemy! Gen Z boss enemy!
And on top of that, we've jammed a computer into a little device we carry in our pocket all day. Email.
I'm not fucking joking you. Like, I have a few people, that's all they do. Like, I have a buddy of mine, like, he's been at more jobs than I can remember just because he's, like, you know, one of the people that you sign your lease to and shit. Like, it's kind of weird how I would think that he'd be getting paid more and he'd be getting, like, the better jobs and all this kind of shit, being able to move all around the country just to have people sign their lease every single month. Like, versus, I'm in the construction industry. As long as I budget and manage my money properly, I'm doing pretty fine.
At 6 a.m., 9 p.m., 2 a.m. Never stops. And you better respond. It requires so much corporate bullshit that you end up not focusing on solving any real problems, but instead you're worried about who you can suck off next to climb the ladder. You attend college only to go into debt for years just to become a per my last email robot. It's like we've lost the plot on what makes a job great. When you really look under the hood of white-collar jobs, what you expect to find is the land of opportunity. But what you really find is the land of anxiety and burnout. Well, what happens when you look under the hood of blue-collar jobs? I think you'll find some stuff that's actually pretty great. Should I have said frickin'? I maybe need. Frickin'. I'll try it again with frickin'. Yeah, in my white-collar job, I'm now gonna have to talk to HR about saying fucking instead of frickin'. So, this could be my last video. So what's making them great? How about the fact you don't need to go into $50,000 in debt just to have a chance at a paycheck? Blue-collar jobs allow you the opportunity to make money right out of high school. This means...
So fucking true. I mean, granted, my job, they were looking at me like, I don't know if this dude can freaking last. Now, I mean, I'm making decent money. I work 40 hours a week. Easily 40 hours a week. And the only reason why I'm down right now is because I had surgery a couple of days ago, which they understand. They all are like, dude, you gotta you go through that many rounds of surgery? Shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're understanding.
Means no debt, steady income, and a 4-year head start on retirement. Skipping college for a blue-collar job used to mean that you might not make as much money in the long run. Now I don't know if that's the case. White-collar jobs become more competitive, and just because you have a degree doesn't guarantee you're gonna get a job like it used to. And it also doesn't guarantee you're gonna make more money. Trust me, my dad and every other person that owns a blue-collar company will take anyone with a heartbeat. You know, which means we'll find that there's plenty of opportunities to work these BCJs, short for blue.
The only difference between white collar work and blue collar work is that at the end of the day, you're in white collar work, you get to work in air conditioning. When you're in blue collar work, I build your air conditioning. Like, the job isn't done until you have AC. That's when my job is done. Like, blue-collar work, you guys sit in air conditioning all day, and when the AC doesn't work, you're bitching and moaning and complaining, but yet you don't have to be on a ladder for 10 hours a day. You don't have to be in an environment that if you walk down the hallway, you're like, holy shit, I better cover my mouth because I may get cancer from breathing in all these fucking chemicals that's in the fucking air right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in situations like that. It's not cool.
Collar jobs. Demand for these blue collar jobs is through the roof, while supply seems to be falling. It doesn't matter if you have zero experience, you can still find work across the country. Hell, you can even have a couple 2-3 felonies and still find a job. Just because you've made a bad decision or made a mistake or struggled with some sort of addiction in your life and ended up in a bad spot doesn't mean you still can't find a job, turn your life around, and give yourself a second chance at life. Blue collar jobs offer you that. Not a lot of white collar jobs do. Plus, you can live just about anywhere and still get a blue collar job. Most white collar jobs, you gotta live in a city. Not to mention AI is eliminating white collar jobs faster than they are blue collar jobs. Even though we all thought that robots would be building houses before they'd be stealing marketing jobs. We thought creative work was safe and all of the manual labor jobs were not. And it turns out it's way harder to build a robot to do skilled work than it is to come up with a dumb.
That is so fucking true. When's the last time you saw a robot on a fucking construction site if it wasn't like patting ground or something like that? I mean, yeah, we have robots that help out in work, but nothing's like having hand to a hammer actually getting the work done. Like
Tagline for a shitty marketing campaign. Which also means my time is limited here on YouTube. I'll see you back on the job site. Yes, blue collar work can be hard work. You gotta grind it out on the job site, but you also can get paid really well for your time. Reliable, hardworking people can climb the ladder much faster in these industries. What? You mean the harder that I work, the better I can make my life? There's no office bureaucracy? No way, no HR breathing down my neck all day? I can come to work, do my job, and not feel like smashing the printer? That sounds great and refreshing. Instead of being stuck playing the empty corporate Game of Thrones, you can come to work and do something a little more fulfilling. Blue collar jobs are more fulfilling because you can solve your own problems and see the progress unfold right in front of you every single day. You get to work outside with your hands just building shit. You can bust balls with the crew. What, Jake?
Was that a Dumb and Dumber dream sequence?
That was a speed bag in the nutsack. You get to joke around with the crew and build a camaraderie that's tough to find anywhere else. Just you and your coworkers talking shit and getting shit done. Even though we...
true shit, but I will admit, the shit talking can only go so fucking far. People, they can only take so much shit before you start turning around and you be like, look, dude, I'm tired of your shit. Like, you know, it's happened multiple times. I have done it multiple times, but at the end of the day, when you both have that time to communicate and you both equally understand that you're just here to do a job and you're just here to work, you know, sometimes you may be a dick. They may be a dick. They need to understand that shit.
You got all these shenanigans going on the job site. You still have a bunch of guys that are really, really good at what they do. At these jobs, each day you can move closer and closer to being a master at something, and maybe someday ended up on my TikTok feed. I mean, look at this guy. This would take me 10 minutes to do. He's done it in...
Damn.
He's done. I mean, look at that. God, that is satisfying. All these things make blue-collar jobs so fulfilling. Most people think that fulfillment comes from how much you work or the title next to your name. But true fulfillment comes from the energy of problem solving, the camaraderie, and making progress. But I think the most fulfilling part doesn't even happen at work. Blue-collar jobs are more fulfilling than white-collar jobs because when you leave at 5, you can truly leave your work at work. No 9 p.m. emails you need to respond to ASAP as possible. No hanging out on the weekend stressed about the PowerPoint presentation you gotta give on Monday morning. And definitely no meetings that could have just been an email. No taking a call in the middle of your kid's t-ball game and missing a home run. The best life is one where you can feel fulfilled at work and at home. One where you can be present with your family and...
True shit. One thing I will say about feeling most fulfilled about blue collar work too is I can look back at my hometown and say I've built at least 3 or 4 or 5 buildings, and it's constant. Like, I'm about to get on a project where I'm building an addition to my high school that I used to go to. So the old stoner is coming back and he's building a fucking addition to your school. Yo, how many kids were actually doing that? Like, how cool is that? Like, How cool is that for you to look at your town and be like, I built at least like fucking 2, 3, 4 buildings in this whole fucking city. I helped build that. I helped build that. I helped build that. I helped build that. And other people, they just come by and they're just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that's one of the real things. You can look back around America and be like, I built America, instead of I worked for the people that just live here.
Still master your craft at work. Blue collar jobs in today's world give you the best opportunity to be at home with your family and be there while also still being great at work. You feel accomplished by what you do every day at work, and then you go home to your family and actually be there with them, because that is what true work-life balance is, and that's what you're going to care about when you're 80 years old on your deathbed. And we seem to have lost that over time. We just say, the hustle, 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 24/7, 365. No, dude, go home and spend time with your kid.
We need to kind of get that mentality out of the construction environment, because that is also in the construction environment. I don't know where you're working, bruh, but that's in our environment here too. Hustle, 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 24/7. But sometimes they realize, like, yo, not everybody, like, you know, let's just say we start to have moments where it's like, yo, dude, go take care of yourself, man.
That's why people do blue collar jobs. Well, guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on the video. If you could also hit subscribe and the like.
Alright, guys, so that is my reaction of this video. Truly, I say a lot of you guys should get into blue collar work. I mean, a lot of people are saying that they're losing their jobs. I'm looking at the whole construction community, blue collar work, and let's just say when I got mad at work one day and I put my resume on Instagram, on Indeed, till this day, people are still like, boom, 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 boom. Do you want to work here? 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 And I'm just like, damn. Fuck. That's crazy. That's crazy. But thank you guys for chilling me up on this Talking with Mojo. We're talking every single day. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next Talking with Mojo.